So here's a super healthy, super tasty keto and carnivore dish that you can make from freezer to eat ready in about 10 minutes. That's how quick this can be. And what it is we're going to be making some delicious grass-fed patties from Costco. It's a it's a perfect carnivore keto meal for a lot of reasons. For one thing is that, as you can see, it has an 80-20 beef to fat ratio, which is ideal for carnivore keto diet. You want to make sure you have adequate fat in your food when you are on the keto carnivore diet, because you're basically switching your body's metabolism. Instead of burning glucose or sugar, it's burning fat instead, which is great for your body because it really reduces the inflammation in your body. So this is a really good option, very affordable, very tasty. It's a perfect dish for this diet. And in this case here for Costco, 5 pounds. 5 pounds for $34. So that puts it at just under $7 a pound. So it's a great affordable option. And I don't work for Costco, by the way. I just love their stuff. So let me this came right from the freezer. So we're going to, this will take too long. In the meantime, I'm going to start up this pan. I want to start everything fresh so you can see what I'm doing. As you can see, the burner's on medium. And the pan I'm using, by the way, it's a skillet. That is a non-stick skillet. It's actually made out of white granite. But I think that's besides the point. The important thing is that it's non-stick. So you don't want to heat the pan up, to more than medium temperature. So that's why I'm making sure it's only at medium. And the burner, it's kind of on the smaller side, so you can see. And also, just as a note, I'm putting the pan in the back of the stove because if it gets too close to the front of the stove, the fat splatters out and it goes into the floor. Then you have another mess on the floor. So just for more efficiency, keep the pan in the back of the stove. And as it's heating up, let me just go ahead and put the oil in the pan. And as you can see, I also use Costco extra virgin olive oil. And this is a really good choice, both very affordable. I think it was like $22 for 2 liters. That's like a really good deal for extra virgin olive oil. And olive oil also is an extremely good oil to cook with because it's very high in unsaturated fats. So it's excellent for this diet, and also very healthy too, by the way. The oils that are fruit based, which olives are, they are fruit based. Put in a little bit like about this. Oh, that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna just sop some of that up. As you can see, I put an awful lot of olive oil in there. And too much olive oil or too much oil in general could splatter, so I'll probably end up sopping some of that up. But the good thing about olive oil is that it is fruit-based, so it has a lot less inflammation-causing agents than, say, for example, vegetable oils. So that's another good thing for using this particular oil. So as this pan's heating up, let me go ahead and spread it around. And I'm going to go ahead and start taking out the beef patties. Again, this is frozen. Actually, this is a new package. Okay, and so they break really easily, by the way. They split very easily because they put these nice little paper sheets in between, and they're very effective, as you can see. So we're going to remove these papers off of the patties. Okay, and let me see. The pan's not really all that hot, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in anyway. And, for my time estimate, about 10 minutes. Let's start it off from now instead of all the talk I've been doing. So let's put these patties in here. And in 10 minutes from now, we will have terrific tasting, excellent, super tasty beef patties. Okay, and actually, so as they're cooking, a few more other important notes. For seasoning, we're going to be using this. Really, we're going to keep it limited. In this kind of a diet, you want to minimize your carbohydrates, obviously, and keep it down to a minimum. So instead of using garlic or garlic salt or things like that, we're just going to use this sea salt. And this sea salt is it's a Baja Gold sea salt. It's actually mined from the Baja, California area. And it's super pure. As you can see, the pureness is really high. And it has really good trace minerals in this. So when you take this, you actually are serving a lot of needs. First of all, it's extremely good taste. It's really good salt. And besides that, it's also got some very important minerals in there that's good for your body. And I got a pretty cool dispenser for that. Let me just... you can see my messy stove and everything. I'm grabbing my salt here. But this cool little salt dispenser here I got from Amazon. I think it was for about $7, but it serves as a very good way to dispense the salts. And this came from Amazon as well. So let me see. A few important details as you prepare your food. You want to keep the meat super fresh. Well, when I say fresh, I mean, super, I guess, healthy. Or basically, you want to put the meat back in the freezer as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Walk this right back to the freezer. And I have a spot for it. See, the freezer is super stuffed. So I got a little spot right here. I got loads of good stuff from Trader Joe's. And okay, so I don't have to worry about the meats defrosting unnecessarily. So that's good. Okay, so it's been about like a couple minutes so far. Needs a little bit more time before I flip this. Let me see. Now, a few other important notes. One of which is that the dish I'm using here is a ceramic dish, and the reason why I chose a ceramic dish is because, as you'll see soon, I'm going to be capturing the fat that burns off of the burger patties. I don't want to lose any of the fat that comes off of here, because again, on this diet, your body is changing what it uses for energy. So essentially, and that's the big benefit of this diet, and that's the reason why I even went on the diet in the first place, is because of health. For good health reasons. I'm 58 years old, and as you get older, there's some health issues that can develop. But actually, this can apply for any age, but mostly for men on the older side, we can start to develop things that involve the prostate. So in my case, my what they call a PSA level that measures, and I'm sorry, let me say a little slower. PSA. PSA, it's a protein-specific antigen, and basically that level indicates whether or not your prostate is enlarged or not, enlarged. And so my PSA level was on the higher side, for sure. And there were a lot of anecdotal reports, let me say that one more time, a lot of anecdotal reports that indicated that when you lower the inflammation in your body, namely through this diet, that one of the health benefits could be a lower PSA level. And that's actually what I experienced. At least the diet is part of that component. There's a few other supplements I've been taking that may have contributed as well, and I'll make sure that I itemize those in the description of this video. So PSA was the main reason. The health of the prostate is very important for older men. So that's one of the big reasons why I started this diet. And other issues I had were that I had high blood pressure. On blood pressure medication, I was averaging 140 over 95. Maybe sometimes like 150 over 95. And that's with blood pressure medication. Without it, obviously you'd be a lot worse. And so this diet allowed me to stop the medication. Let me just flip this now. It allowed me to stop the medication. Whoa. And at the same time, my blood pressure lowered by quite a bit. And the maybe the greatest benefit of all this, besides the PSA being, actually that's the most important one, but with the blood pressure going down, is that I'm able to have 4 times as much salt that I've ever had before on this diet, and yet still have a low blood pressure. So I'm pretty happy about that whole result there. Okay, So as you can see, I've seasoned this side of the patty. Actually, I kind of wait till it's cooked first before I season it, because if it's frozen, the seasoning doesn't stay on as well. I'm going to go ahead and, this is good. So as you can see, there's some oil and fat, being cooked off the patties as this is cooking. I'll let this sit here for another few minutes. So as I'm waiting for this to go, I shall describe a little bit more about how I'm cooking this. I am keeping an eye on how much fat is being burned off these patties, because if there's too much fat in the pan, then the burgers become soggy. They'll cook soggy. And soggy, to me at least, doesn't taste as good as if it's more crisp. So you want to keep on periodically draining the fat from the pan onto this nice ceramic dish, which, by the way, because it's not paper, it's not going to absorb the fat that comes off of this pan. That's one of the big reasons why I pick a ceramic pan, a plate that is because it will not absorb the fat that you're trying to keep as part of this diet, that you'll be consuming with this patty, which, by the way, it tastes really good with the fat. Okay, so while we wait a little bit more for these patties, I'll explain a little bit more about the diet. So the key thing about this diet is that your body will change its metabolism. As far as its metabolic processes goes, you're going to switch from a glucose-burning machine, basically what your body is doing to get energy. It basically takes the carbohydrates, which carbs come from everything, right? Vegetables and breads and grains, nuts comes from everything. And it takes those carbohydrates, it converts it to glucose and burns it for energy. That's your normal metabolic process for the average person. What the keto and carnivore diet does is that it's changing your metabolism to switch to fat energy source as opposed to glucose. And that's the greatest thing about this diet is that when you make that switch metabolically, that your body has a lot less inflammation to it. And that's really important for your health in general. So this is coming along pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and just flip it now. And as you can see, okay, so as I said before, there's some good amount of fat that's collecting in this pan. So I'm going to lift these patties up. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to go ahead and just pour it onto this plate, as you can see. So the fat, the melted fat, is all going to be on the plate. So it's not like having the patties get soggy on the pan. Okay. So let's cook it for a little bit longer here. I like my patties, by the way, medium well, which I know most people don't like. And that actually is one of the reasons why it takes me a little bit longer to cook this. It'd probably be a little bit shorter than 10 minutes if it wasn't medium well. So, okay, so this is cooking some more. And as you saw what I did, I just took off a lot of the fat and preserved it onto the plate right here. That's a good amount of fat right there that you're saving. And okay, so to further elaborate on the fats, the reason why it's important to consume enough fat is it's obviously being used for energy by your body. And if your body doesn't have enough fats to burn for energy in this diet, what it'll do instead is actually will use the protein in your body, which can include your muscles, and convert that to glucose as energy. So you're actually going backwards if you don't have adequate fat in your diet. So just to elaborate more, and by the way, that process where it's burning protein and muscle to convert it to glucose for energy, that's called gluconeogenesis. And I'll put the term in the description, but that's not what you want to be in. So that is just a further elaboration about why we have to have enough fat in what we consume, and why the 80-20 combination, or that ratio of beef to fat, is so important. And at Costco, by the way, this meat, it's grass-fed, by the way, so there's a lot of benefits to it being grass-fed. I mean, this doesn't make it a perfect meat, but it's definitely healthier. Because typically grass-fed beef, and especially in the case of Costco, there's no hormones or other chemicals put into the beef. So just by virtue of that, it's definitely a lot healthier. That's another plus for this beef from Costco. This is high quality, very tasty, great beef to fat ratio, and it's very affordable. And it cooks really quickly. Again, this is from a frozen state. And this is about done, by the way. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take a little peek, see if this spatula can do it. You know what? I think it's a little bit too weak for this. But as I'm squeezing it, though, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just drain it one more time. I'm seeing a lot of fat collect at the bottom of this pan. And let it cook for a little bit more. Okay, as you can see, a lot of fat just came off of that pan. Okay, and let's let it cook for a little bit more, and it'll be perfect and ready to eat. I'll season a little bit more, a tiny bit more. Again, all this extra salt. I love salt, by the way. I'm a huge salt fan. And for me to be able to eat more salts and still have low blood pressure, and by the way, my sodium count in my blood test was good. So this diet seems to take care of it all as far as salt goes, at least for me. And it's important for every individual because we're all different to check for yourselves. But for me, it's been good. Okay, so a little bit longer for this. One of the benefits I got from the carnivore diet, the keto diet, is that my weight also dropped significantly. I was pretty happy about that. It was in about 2 months, I lost about 20 pounds. A kind of slight variation. It was actually more than 20 pounds initially. It was more like maybe 25 plus. But I gained a little bit back, I guess, after your body gets used to this. So besides the PSA, which is the greatest benefit I've experienced so far, if you're familiar with the levels, I was at 6.7, which is fairly scary, and I'm down to 4.9, so it's on the right trajectory. So I have to credit this diet hugely as part of that. And again, there's other things I did too. There's a few other supplements I've been taking. I'll include that in the description below. So let's see. So it's PSA lowering, it's the blood pressure, and the weight. So it's been a great kind of benefits of this diet. I think we're done. So I'm gonna turn off the stove. Make sure that you turn off the stove. These pans don't do well in heat without anything in it, so you definitely don't want to be leaving the pan with the burner on. Okay, and let's just, I'm trying to get all the grease off of here by kind of swirling the patty around in here. Okay, make sure you get all the fat off of here. 80-20 is a good ratio, and if you have more, even a 70-30 ratio, if they don't sell beef patties in that ratio usually, but even a 70-30 would be even better. But 80-20 is fantastic. It's a great ratio. So as you can see, they are as tasty as they look, and this fat that you'll be eating with this, it makes it also extra tasty as well. So I shall be eating this in short order, and I wish you all a very good bon appetit.